Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder why certain things just feel right or wrong to us, almost without thinking? Well, today we're diving into a fascinating idea about how our minds perceive the world around us, and it all starts with something as simple as dung. Imagine a big pile of dung. For most of us, that is an immediate you-do reaction. It smells bad, it looks bad. We just don't want anything to do with it. But this paper argues that this feeling isn't because dung is inherently disgusting. Instead, our brains evolved to see it that way because for our ancient ancestors, getting too close to feces could mean getting sick. Not a good trade-off for survival, but for a fly, that same pile of dung might be the most amazing thing in the world. It is food, it is a place to lay eggs. Their perception is completely different because their survival depended on it in another way. This idea is pretty cool, but the researchers here point out that we often use the word perception to cover a lot of different mental processes. When we talk about perception, are we talking about the same thing every time? They think maybe not, and that using one word for many different things can actually make it harder to understand how our minds are designed. They say this is a bit like a jingle fallacy in personality psychology, where two different ideas get the same name, making us think they're the same thing when they're not. So they propose we break down what we mean by perception into more specific categories to get a clearer picture. One way we perceive things is by trying to figure out if something is a potential threat or an opportunity. Think about detecting if someone is interested in you romantically, or if they might be about to attack. This is like a signal detection problem. There are cues, but they're not always clear. You might get a hit when someone is interested, a miss when they are, but you don't notice. A false alarm when you think they're interested but they're not, or a correct rejection when you correctly sense no interest. The researchers suggest that our internal decision thresholds can shift based on our experiences, our environment, and even our age. Sometimes we're more likely to see potential danger, and sometimes we're more likely to see potential interest. This ability to tune those thresholds helps us navigate social situations safely and effectively. Beyond just detecting threats or opportunities, we also perceive what we can do with things in our environment. Imagine you see an orange. Is it food or could it be a projectile? Maybe to throw at someone or something. What an orange is for you in that moment depends on your internal state. Are you hungry? In your external situation, are you safe or being chased? This type of perception involves our brains quickly assessing our needs and the world around us to figure out how to use objects to our advantage. It is about understanding the affordances of things, the potential uses they offer us right now. Then there is what most people think of as perception, the actual subjective experience, the feeling of something. This is what we call qualia. Think about the feeling of being cold. That sensation motivates you to find warmth. Feeling hot motivates you to seek shade or cool down. Seeing bright light makes you want to shield your eyes. These feelings aren't random. They're evolved responses designed to help us deal with specific environmental conditions. However, our ability to have these qualia-based perceptions is limited. We don't have evolved feelings for things like carbon monoxide poisoning or radiation, even though they can be deadly. Our perceptual systems have evolved to deal with the challenges our ancestors faced most often. And it gets even more nuanced. Sometimes we don't consciously perceive something, but our bodies and behaviors still react to environmental cues. For example, you might not feel your testosterone levels changing, but those levels can influence whether you focus more on mating or on raising children. Similarly, even if we don't consciously perceive the overall sex ratio of our community, our bodies might still pick up on cues related to it. This could lead to automatic adjustments in behavior, or sometimes repeated experiences like struggling to find a mate because there aren't many potential partners around. Can lead to feelings of frustration or boredom. These feelings then nudge us towards certain actions, like trying harder to mate, becoming more competitive, or even moving to a different place. So, what is the big takeaway here? The researchers are saying that Coe and Newberg's framework of using perception is a great start for understanding how we relate to our environment. But they argue we need to be more precise with our language. If we lump together detecting threats, figuring out what to do with an object, the subjective feeling of being cold, and unconscious bodily adjustments all under the same word perception, we risk missing important distinctions. By carefully separating these different kinds of mental processes, we can better understand how our minds are designed by evolution to handle the challenges and opportunities of the world. It is like dissecting a complex machine by looking at each part individually. We understand the whole system much better. This research really highlights how much of our behavior and our feelings are shaped by our evolutionary past. That gut feeling we have about something isn't just a random thought. It is often the product of millions of years of adaptation, designed to help our ancestors survive and pass on their genes. The jingle fallacy, as they call it, is a good reminder that even simple words can hide complex meanings. By breaking down perception into its component parts, threat detection, functional affordances, subjective experience, and unconscious regulation, we get a clearer picture of the diverse ways our minds interact with the world. What is really powerful about this perspective is its ability to explain variation within individuals. The same situation might elicit different perceptions and behaviors depending on who you are, where you are, and what your current needs are. This is crucial for understanding things like individual differences in risk-taking, social behavior, and even how we respond to our environment. It suggests that our minds are not static but are constantly calibrating themselves to our surroundings and our own internal states. Looking ahead, this kind of research could lead to even deeper insights into how we learn, adapt, and make decisions. Imagine designing educational programs that are more attuned to how students naturally perceive information, or developing better strategies for public health by understanding how people perceive risks. The more we refine our understanding of these fundamental mental processes, the better equipped we'll be to understand ourselves and to improve our lives. So, what do you think? Does breaking down perception make sense to you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the psychology of perception, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Rubin's Mind Lab for more explorations into the fascinating world of the human mind. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.